We're live?
We're live. We're
right.
live.
Everybody, welcome to the Ask Us Shit Live pod for May 7, 2025, featuring Jerry Scotto.
Wow, how official is that?
That's
Welcome, everybody. Welcome. This is the Ask Us Shit Live pod. I am John from Silver Fox. He is
Matt from the Music Boutique.
And we are really super psyched to have an amazing guest. Somebody who almost goes without an introduction, but I'm going to introduce him anyway.
You should introduce him.
We've got Jerry Scotto, the
Jerry
owner and proprietor of Westbury Manor, one of the top operators, top wedding professionals in the industry, and somebody I am very lucky to call a friend. Jerry, welcome to the pod.
Gentlemen, thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yes, awesome to be here. Awesome to be with you. This is the best.
It's all downhill from here, so why don't we just thank you very much. Right, and so just so you guys know what we're doing here, it's about a half an hour. We're going to give you some really good stuff. This is wedding wisdom without the bullshit, hence the name, Ask Us Shit. Yeah. So if you have questions, please fire them away on the various platforms, Instagram. Everybody's got their knowledge on how to do that. So we're going to, Jerry's going to give a little intro bio about what he does, who he is, and then questions. We're going to go into questions and topics and give you some great advice and some great insight. So, Jerry, fill the world in about, who you are.
Who is Jerry Scotto?
Yes.
Well,
you don't have to start from like 5 years old, but Westbury Manor, people know it is amazing, this sort of...
I thought you asked me the question.
Yes! Get him, Jerry! Yes. That's all we have. Yes.
I really appreciate being here. It's already a lot of fun. I've been in the restaurant and catering business since I'm 6 years old. When we started out, my mom and dad brought me to work because they didn't have a babysitter and everybody in my family worked. So
those tables aren't going to bust themselves.
The tables aren't going to clean themselves. So I was out there doing that. And I've been, we started in the catering business in 1976. At Chateaubriand's, our first facility, and I've been working in the industry ever since. Took over Westbury Manor in 2005, and I've been operating that facility for the last 20 years.
Yes.
To this day, I still enjoy what I do. I mean, we throw parties for a living.
It could be worse.
How do you not enjoy that?
Yes.
Yeah, man. And you get to cook for everybody, make some of the most fantastic food available. There's a restaurant on site also.
Correct. Polo Lounge. We're open Thursday through Saturday for dinner. Come on down and have a great meal. I will put our food up against anybody on Long Island.
You heard that? We'll take the Pepsi challenge.
The Pepsi challenge. Peter, are we live on Instagram? Just asking only because I see the Silver Fox Studios NY, and I don't see it as that one as live. I just want to make sure.
Ask Us is live.
Okay.
Our feed is not.
Okay, so why don't we put it on the separate device here, since that is where...
That's what we have it for. We knew we needed a second device.
So, yeah.
Or fifth device.
Take this. So, we're going to have to... You got to get it on some way, something here.
Yeah.
You're not going to hold it for... I don't think you're going to hold it for a half an hour, so... Just minor technical. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cameras there. If you want to take TikTok off and put our camera on there,
And we can put TikTok back on the TikTok.
I will put TikTok back over here. Folks, just minor technical. This is what happens when you do it live. We're going to do it live.
Well, it is episode 4.
It is episode 4.
So that means we've only done this 3
Sorry,
times.
TikTok, we're just throwing you back over. We did have actually a backup plan for you, and that is... now I've got to turn this camera around.
It's funny watching guys with glasses go like this
Yeah.
in and out with the phones.
See,
I
flip
think
the
that's
camera.
fun. Yeah.
Which we did, and so we are still live on...
We're still live.
Okay, we're still live on TikTok. Now you just have a different perspective. You get to see the behind the scenes, the behind the ears, the behind everything. And so let me know when we're live on Silver Fox. We're live on Silver Fox. Awesome. Finally, we had a little minor technical difficulty, so we're going to do it all again. No. So I'm John from Silver Fox.
I'm Matt from the Music Boutique.
And this is Ask Us Shit live pod. Thanks for joining us. We're live everywhere else.
This is Bridal Box.
Okay, so then you've got us. Wow. Look at this.
Yeah.
This is prepared stuff. I'm telling you right now.
No, but this is the stuff
is
that
what
makes
happens
it
when you go
fun.
live,
Because this
man.
is the kind of thing where next year, where we have a full production studio, we've got ha ha ha. Remember in episode 4 when we didn't know how to switch the phones to the right account, and we'll go ha ha ha. How funny as we have our nails done and our makeup done, and that that little thing that sits in your collar that like stops the makeup from getting on your shirt.
Not an ascot.
Well, I've always been on TV, so these guys haven't been on as much TV. So,
So this will be edited out of everything else.
Why?
So, well, because
this is the memories. This
everybody
like the Polaroid.
on Westbury Manor is seeing it live. Everybody on.
Switch it, please. Hey.
Wow, my goodness. Okay, so Silver Fox Studios and
Just go live, John.
And live.
Just go live.
So.
Is it backwards?
Checking connection. No, it's easy.
Now
right
we're
now
live.
it's showing me.
Right, there
Hey,
you go.
everybody, finally live here. We thought we were live for like 10 minutes, but we realized we were live on every other device except this one. So, yes. Welcome to Ask Us Shit. Peter's going to take the phone now, put it where it belongs, and hopefully now we can get started. Peter, you know how to turn the camera around on that one?
Yeah.
So it's not on you. And get it in place. And we're just going to kind of do a sort of... I'm going to have you do that again, because I know you want to do that again.
Press the button.
Once we figure out how it works, yeah.
Peter. Okay.
Going
I think
live
we're
is hard.
still live.
Going live is
we're
hard.
telling your followers that you've started live. So there you go.
Sorry.
Yes.
Going live is hard, but
Yes.
now we are.
Well,
See,
going
and-
live from like I don't know.
No, well,
I don't know
that's
how many
just
devices is it?
Bringing home the point that life is precious.
Okay, I don't know what that means, but we still live, Peter?
Yeah.
Are you sure we're live? 1,000% sure that we are live.
Yeah, on the right account.
If we're not live on Silver Fox right now, somebody drive here and let us know, because we don't have any devices left. There are literally 6 devices everywhere. Okay, so
Ask Us Shit live pod, new for May 7, 2025. Special guest, the Jerry Scotto.
take 14. Welcome everybody. I am John from Silver Fox. He is,
Matt from the Music Boutique.
and this is
Jerry Scotto.
from Westbury Manor, and we are finally, I think, up and running everywhere on the Ask Us Shit platform, the live pod. Jerry was telling us about when he was 6 years old and how he was working for $2 an hour. So why don't we go back a little bit and give people a little bit of background, since we don't have to go through the teen years, but
Well, like I said, I started in the restaurant business when I was very young. My parents, both, the whole family worked in the restaurant, so I went along with them. They didn't have babysitters at the time, or I couldn't even afford the babysitter at the time, really. I started working when I was very young. Stayed with the business. I started catering when we took over Chateaubriand in 1976. And I took over the Westbury Manor in 2005 and have been operating it for the last 20 years. And as I said before, I love my job. We throw parties for a living.
yes. And that is
Can't
a lot
beat
of
that.
fun.
Yeah.
You can't beat that. You
Beautiful
can't beat
parties
that.
at a beautiful place.
One of the most epic places, if you are a bride or a groom or a couple or anybody even looking to have a social event, corporate event, you need to go to Westbury Manor. It is one of my personal favorites. Absolutely incredible. Classic, timeless, English gardens, checks all the boxes, never going out of style. But, right? It's not. It's just, it is.
Your
it is
classic
always-
Gold Coast mansion,
Yes.
North Shore of Long Island, the things you read about, that they write The Great Gatsby about, places like Westbury Manor.
There are places where every 10 years they got to redo things. This is not that type of place. This is
Lucky
like
me.
No, well, yeah, but lucky the brides. Your pictures still
Are
look
you
good
kidding me?
100 years later, yeah.
Yes, for sure. So anyway, so now just to kind of, I know we've been a little bit all over the board. For all of you that hung with us for these first 10 minutes, we appreciate it. For those of you that are watching, the rewatch, you're not even going to hear this, so it doesn't matter. But so we're going to roll in. Jerry, give us a little background. We've got a bunch of questions here, and if you have questions, please message us live, DM us. We're happy to answer them live, but we do already have 2 pages worth here. So the first one I got, which is actually a very good question, that is for Silver Fox and Westbury Manor. A bride asked, what would be your ideal client couple, as in like best brides and grooms on their wedding day that are a dream to work with? That's part one. And part two is the opposite. Who are couples that are absolute nightmares? This is the client saying this. So I'm going to let our guest here, Jerry, start it off.
All right. Well, it's a great question. The great bride and groom or ideal couple are a couple who want to enjoy their wedding. They are going to let the people that they hired do their jobs, and they are going to just enjoy themselves for the day. They have to. They're the couple that did their due diligence. They're confident in the
vendors that they select.
Yep, the vendors that they select, and they let us do their job. Let us do our. They let us do our job. And our job is to please them. So if we can do that, at the end of the day, obviously we're happy. And the reverse, and I'm not going to call it a nightmare couple, because it's not a nightmare.
No, it's
certainly not a nightmare. But what I do feel is when a couple is overbearing and constantly,
micromanaging.
Right, micromanaging. You know that they're not going to enjoy the day.
You can't when you focus on every little
Right.
thing. Yeah.
And when you see that, when I see that, even from the beginning, I'm kind of brokenhearted. I'm like, I'm not. I don't know.
But
no
that's
matter what
you.
we do.
Yeah. You could take a nightmare and it like hurts your feelings
Yes.
that they're not enjoying
Yes,
themselves.
you
Not-
want them to.
Yeah.
Yes. From a photography, video standpoint, so best couples, and they're most of our couples, I'm not just saying that, are couples that are like, hey, we love you guys, we love the work that you do, we trust you, we communicate really well together beforehand, we get a shot list, and they're just there to enjoy their day. We plan out a day in such a way where you are going to enjoy your wedding. This is not like a photo shoot where a wedding broke out. It is literally like you guys are having a wedding and we're getting great
We're
pictures.
recording it. Yeah.
I've used that line before, by the way.
That is funny, yeah.
It's a
As
good
a
line.
photo
So
shoot,
that
wedding
is
broke
really like just enjoy, like, have a great time. When you have a great time, the pictures are going to be great. Now, the flip side of that is people that get overly stressed or worried about every little thing. What I will say, just as it relates to photos, is you see that in the pictures. Like you will see that stress and that,
Right? Like the extra wrinkle in your eye.
that extra
kind of thing.
like that furrowed brow, that like yes, we can Photoshop it out, but you're gonna know. No, but seriously, like you just want to, once you're at the day, like just go with it, have a good time. I mean, so that is. There are no nightmare couples. There are just great couples and some couples that get a little stressed. But at the end of the day, we're going to make them all happy.
That's it. It's not nightmare couples. It's couples who enjoy their day and couples who don't.
Live questions here. All right, look alive, sunshine. What are some of the places you think couples can cut corners to save money? And what are things worth splurging on? So, you want to take that one, Matt? First?
Sure. As far as where someone can save money, you can save it on the bells and whistles. All right. There's certain baseline things. I'll speak for entertainment. All right. So certain baseline things you need music, right?
Yes.
So we got to bring in some speakers. We got to bring in a facade. There's got to be a DJ. So we're definitely going to start there. If, in my opinion, your party is over a certain amount of people, we'll say the magic number is 50. All right. We would recommend a 2-man team. You would have a DJ and an MC. Most of the time, we'll say even for 80% of the parties, a DJ and an MC will check all of your boxes. Your party will be amazing. And if you're looking to save some money, that's where you stop. You can always add in lights. You can always add in smoke machines. You can add TVs. I got this giant TV screen front board. It's awesome in conjunction with Silver Fox at Westbury Manor.
When you ask what's worth splurging on?
Yeah, so that's worth it, all right? As far as wow factor, when you walk into the Manor room at Westbury Manor, and there's a 6-foot by 10-foot TV screen with pictures of you walking down the aisle.
Yeah.
Your wedding's better than everybody. Sucks to get married after you. Like, how are you going to walk into any other room and get that same sensation? So that's worth a few extra bucks in my opinion.
Yes. All right, well put. So I'm going to jump in real quick for a photo. And
You
Jerry,
tell
I'll
them,
let you
John.
go. Yes, I will tell them. So ways to save. Listen, just go focus on what you need the day of. You want photos, you want video. That's it. Do you need albums and prints and canvases? Maybe, but at the end of the day, you can do that after the wedding. Well, I mean, we don't do it till after the wedding anyway. I mean, we have to actually capture the wedding. So where you can kind of cut some corners is focus on just capturing the day, getting great photographers, getting great video. We offer, for like second photographers and second video, we offer shorter days, which is nice, so you don't have to have somebody there for the entire 10-hour day. If you only have, let's say, a one location event, everything's happening at Jerry's place, Westbury, let's say from 12 to 5, and you're getting ready there, you could have somebody for 4 hours, let's say, as a second photographer, and save yourself a few $100s and not really miss out in terms of coverage, because you're going to have your main photographer the entire day. So that's where I would say, definitely in terms of like saving some. Splurging, listen, I mean, having a 4-person crew, having drone, all that stuff is great. Because, I mean, and I do think adding a content creator nowadays is also a nice thing to have. So you're getting not only stuff that is captured professionally the day of, but from a content perspective, you're able to watch like 24 hours later. So we're capturing reels, we're creating content, we're posting it to channels like you're watching us on, where you're able to share with family and friends like immediately, and that's one of the great things about technology. But yeah, so that's how I'd say some savings and some ways to really splurge. Jerry, the floor is yours.
Yeah, man. Tell
I've always tried to tell our clients, our brides and grooms, that if it's not there, it won't necessarily be missed. So, my 2 cents worth of advice is going to be to divide the planning process into 2 categories. Essential is obviously the facility, the entertainment, the photography, the videography, the gown, the tuxedos, and the flowers. Those are essential. And then the fluff. And the extent of the fluff, again, if it's not there, it won't be missed. If you have a nice facility that has great food, you have great music, you have a cooperative photographer that's looking to do what you're asking them to do, you really don't need much else. Now, with regards to, let's say, menu, most places serve a wide variety of food. People don't leave hungry by any means.
You don't leave Westbury Manor hungry.
Right.
No.
Even the staff doesn't leave hungry.
As a matter of fact, I hate to say it because we want to sell, but you don't have to overdo it. If you want to add something, perhaps an extra station at the cocktail hour, or perhaps something at dessert. But again, what we offer right out of right in our package is really enough. So the answer to the question is, you don't need to overdo it. Don't take 10 pounds of rocks and try to squeeze them into a 5-pound bag. It's just that simple.
Yes.
And it's just to wrap that up, as far as when I am selling, and like I said, I'm never not trying to make a sale, but the idea is, once your main boxes are checked, you can always circle back later and add on the things that, so, all right, I know where I'm having my party. I know I got the DJMC. I know I have one photographer for 8 hours. I know how much that costs me.
Right.
Now I can then circle back. I really like that extra station. Or, man, those lights are really cool. Or, you know what? Let me get the contact.
Yes.
So something along those lines can always be circled back on.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, so great advice right there. That's worth the price of admission right now, right, TikTok?
Man,
TikTok, we're showing you some love up there.
Mm-hmm.
We know you got the side angle, but you've seen our profiles here. Hopefully you're liking that.
That was some good shit. You
that
gotta put
was
that
some
at the end.
good shit. Right,
Good
cool.
shit.
So Matt, a live question for you here. So Matt, we have you booked for our wedding
Lucky Ducks.
on September 20th of next year.
Okay. Of 26?
Of 26,
Okay.
yes. Which one of your add-ons do you find is the biggest crowd pleaser? So cold, sparks, dancing on the cloud, robot, etc. Which is the one?
The best thing you can do in conjunction with a DJ is adding a live musician. I think that's the coolest. You add a percussionist to my DJ booth, it adds a level of energy to that room that is incomparable.
Yeah, it takes the dance floor to another level.
People
Absolutely,
freak out,
positively.
and especially, I'm going to brag a little bit. I got 2 percussionists that work for me, and they are stellar. They look like rock stars. My one guy can take a drumstick, bounce it on the ground, boop, 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 and catch it in his hand, and keep hitting the drums. He doesn't miss a beat. It is exceptional.
When the percussionist gets going, I got to tell you the truth, I have to walk out of the room to keep myself from getting.
Yeah, you start dancing. I watched your whole staff. I watched people look at him. You'll get people just standing there with their jaw dropped, just because he's there. It's such a fun show.
Yes, and Jerry's a dancer, by the way. I've caught him he dances. You know.
Throw parties for a living.
Yeah.
What, somebody saying,
I may or may not have seen.
what about a live whistler? No, I'm kidding, no.
Well, I got a spoon guy.
Right.
My spoon. Yeah.
Alrighty. So, question. So, for Westbury Manor, is a food tasting something we get if we book with you?
Certainly, we can do food tastings. What we actually do is we give you a gift card to our restaurant so that you could come in and try the food at your leisure. What I will tell you about a food tasting is a staged event, right? You're going to tell a facility that you want to come for a tasting. They're going to put their best foot forward. They'd be foolish not to. So it's not, that might not necessarily be what you're going to get the day of your wedding.
That's some insider info right there.
Yeah,
all right. Hey,
that really is. So what I would do is, you look at reviews for facilities, and you see that the facilities that receive reviews about the food continuously, you know that it's going to be good. You ask friends or people that you know that have been there, and they'll tell you firsthand, yes, the food is good. Ultimately, yes, we will do a tasting for you. We can do that. We offer the gift card to the restaurant. But again, do remember, a tasting is a staged event.
Yeah.
And also, I want to say that, most menus have 100 items on them for you to select.
Yeah.
So there's no way that you can go in and taste all those items. So it's just going to be a select few, a number of, a few different items that they have. That answers the question.
Yes, and listen, I can just tell you from being in this business for 30 years and having shot hundreds, if not more, weddings there, the food is amazing there. So, take it, and Matt, I think, can vouch for it as well.
Listen, there's very few places where
yeah.
I consistently will stop for
here's
dinner.
The deal. There's a restaurant on site, so you got to think. It's not like there's the restaurant kitchen and the catering. There's the kitchen,
right?
And so it's not like well, this, so. There are people during the week that are there on Tuesday night with, their date or whatever.
And we are a scratch kitchen. What that means is we make everything on premise. Our hors d'oeuvres aren't coming in frozen. And, I will be honest. The frozen hors d'oeuvres have come a long way. They're not bad. But they're not.
But they're not fresh.
They're not fresh.
They're not fresh.
They're not made on
fresh.
premise. We still operate a scratch kitchen.
Yes.
Our chef has been with us for over 40 years.
So speaking of, and the sous chef too, 20 years, and
Most of my kitchen staff has been with me for over 15 years.
Yeah.
And that's a question that you might want to ask also. How long has the chef been here? The longer the chef has been there, that the recipes are sound. The kitchen will be organized. That's a big.
Probably cook with the lights out. He probably just knows where everything is. This is where my knife always is. Yeah.
Good question, because a lot of people ask that. You're going to showcases, you're seeing all the food out and everything, and you're getting little tastes here and there. But and look at Live Sunshine. You are very welcome. She's thanking us for all right. Oh wow. So Angela wants to say she doesn't have a question, but she just wanted to hop on and say they're lucky to have you as their DJ in July. Right? How nice is that? Right? How we're doing it live.
Thank you.
I mean, you can't get that.
I'm like, that is a little bit flattering.
You can't
Thank
get
you.
that pre-recorded. So
that's an ideal couple.
That's an ideal couple.
I will do the thing, and it will be great.
There you go. Okay, a question for Silver Fox, and I'll make it quick because I feel like I'm always taking up the air in the room here. Can I choose my photographer? What if we both. Can I choose my photographer? Yes, you can. Absolutely.
Short answer.
That's the short answer, without question. In fact, that's what we would prefer. So if your family or friend or somebody recommended you, or if you're on Brides of Long Island, that absolutely tell us if they're available. They are yours. That's who you will do your engagement shoot with, and that's who you'll get comfortable with. And you're going to spend 10 hours with us, and so you want to know the person you're spending. And everybody we have is amazing. So the answer to that is absolutely. What if we like both photography? What if we like two? Can we request both? Oh, for first and second. So, superhero names. No superhero names.
I was just curious.
Yes,
I didn't know if anybody
we don't
had
have
a
superhero
name.
names.
Yeah.
So can you request both? So yes, you can. So there are some main photographers that shoot as a second photographer. You can request, but we cannot guarantee the second photographer because they are more than likely going to be
Requested somewhere else.
requested as a main photographer. So now, if you're getting married in February and we're not doing a full
Sunday morning,
yeah, exactly. So so there are times when it can happen, but I wouldn't want to say that that's a promised thing. But yes, choosing and requesting, no extra charges, any of that sort of stuff, and no superhero names. All right.
It's just because it came up. That's the only reason
Well,
I'm
you
saying.
gotta ask that. You gotta ask
Someone
that,
came
yes.
in and said,
Yes.
Silver Fox
So
guys.
for you, Mr. Music Boutique, how do we choose our must-play song list? How much of it gets played?
Okay, well, so short answer there is the must plays always get played. That's the answer to that question. What a must play isn't your song you're walking down the aisle to. It's not the song you dance with your parents. It's not your first dance, your grand entrance song. Those are all separate. On my must playlist, there's 2 sections where you can write out, I think, 10 or 15 that if you don't hear it, it's not a party. And we'll find a way to work those in kind of wherever. So you're, for a cooking thing, will you give us the ingredients? We
You'll
make
weave
the
it
cake.
in. You'll do the weave.
We do the weave. All right. We also ask people to give us a Spotify list, and I actually had one of my DJs make a comment this past weekend. We had 2 parties together, and the DJ on the one party, there was 230 songs requested. It amounted to 15 or 20 hours of music. And then there was someone who requested 6 songs. They put 6 songs on their thing. So over the course of a 4-hour party, we'll play somewhere in the range of 60 to 80 songs.
Okay.
So if you give me 250, we're not getting to everything. It's just impossible.
10 pounds of rocks in a 5-pound
5-pound bag. There's that 5-pound bag again.
6 seconds of each of these songs.
But if you spell out 10, 15, Matt, we gotta hear these. 100% I'll let it in.
Yes.
Yeah, they'll all get played.
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, you also have to read the room.
We were talking about that earlier.
We were just talking about that
Yes,
earlier.
we were.
And I think there's a question that's going to be coming up, but a DJ has to read the room. Now, I like certain music, but 200 of my guests may not necessarily like that music.
Yes.
Well, it's interesting you point that out because that's come up for me a few times in the past couple of weeks now that the wedding season is kicking off. And I actually am going to make an addendum question on my website when clients fill out right before their wedding day that what do you prefer, me to stick to your requests or the health of the party?
The health of the
That's
party.
what I said.
Wow.
Because
you want your party to die?
Well, that was exactly it. And now
We
far
make
be it from
everything
me-
fresh.
Yeah. and it's hard for me to say something like, "Well, you can't hear what you want. It's your wedding."
Yeah.
100%. I'll play whatever you want, with the understanding that we might lose some dance floor activity.
Yeah, do realize that.
Yeah.
The DJ has to read the room.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, but if it's like Tibetan monk hymns, you can't. If somebody requests that.
I do enjoy those.
I was going to say, actually.
Well, actually, what came up
I
instead of
don't even know what they are.
Tibetan hymns, it was actually anime music that came up.
Well, that's anime's awesome.
It's upbeat, but it's not necessarily dance.
You're not
going to
dance to it. You're gonna just like maybe
You-
act
you-
a little.
you-
You're gonna cosplay maybe. All right. Jerry, question for you. Other places I visited have packages. Do you have them? Some we've seen don't seem like such a great deal. So,
Well, we certainly do have packages, actually, with these gentlemen are involved in our packages. Bridal Box.
That's awesome.
And the answer is, to your question is, yeah, some of them aren't a great deal. When you're looking at the package, you have to read the fine print. You also have to ask what's included. What's included in the photographer, what's included in the DJ, what's included in the flowers, and really know that. Now, while packages are easy, it's like, oh great, here, I'm all done. You may not get what you're looking for. So you do have to do a little homework. What is it that you want from a photographer? What is it that you want from a DJ? And then compare that to the package that's being offered. When we sat down and formulated our packages, we had extensive conversations about what do our couples ask for mostly. What are they looking for? Photography, videography-wise, DJ-wise. What are they looking for from flowers? What are the budget ranges that they're looking at? And we took those budget ranges and formulated a package that gives you virtually everything you need within that price point. Again, the answer is read the fine print and ask what is included in the package in each individual category.
Yeah, I would agree with that whole. And just to add too, like you want to make sure, that you're getting, because if you want to take something out, for example, and I know packages are. We had this question asked last week, and I said,
if you want to swap something,
if you want to swap something, how can you do it? What are you going to get? Like it should be transparent. The package, the Bridal Box package that we have with Westbury, if you don't want one, you have to take two of three, but if you don't want one thing, what you're going to, what's going to be...
X number of dollars coming in.
Yes, the value of each thing.
And so I think that's important to know, just because at the end of the day, weddings are very expensive, especially on Long Island, and you want to get the most for your money. You want to have great value. You want to have obviously a great event, but you also want to get value for the money that you're spending. So very, very good question.
Yeah,
but I'm going to add one more thing to that with regards to our packages, especially Bridal Box, or even in most facilities. I would always recommend to go with the house vendors. And the logic behind that is a couple of things. One, they know the facility better than anyone coming in from the outside. What does that mean? It's going to be seamless working with them. Your wedding is going to be myself as the caterer, the photographer, the videographer, the entertainment, and the flowers coming in. The longer we've known each other and the more we've worked together, the more seamless that's going to be, and that's going to be reflected in the final product. Most of the vendors that I recommend, I've been with for 10, some even up to 30 years. So we've already vetted them for you. I wouldn't recommend them if they weren't going to do the right job. And believe it or not, most of the house vendors, and these guys will probably attest to it, want to please me just as much as they want to please you.
Yes.
Can't look bad in front of the boss. Absolutely.
We're one of the busiest facilities on Long Island. They want to keep the account. They don't want you calling me on Monday morning saying that this went wrong or that went wrong. So again, going with the house recommended vendors is your best bet, and it's also easiest. It's seamless planning for you.
There is honestly, like, you're putting your reputation on the line by saying, hey, you know what I mean? And that's so nobody wants to say, hey, well, you told
who's
me
this guy you recommend?
You told me to use this company and they did this, this, and this. And so that's where, listen, there's so many choices nowadays. There's that's part of the reason we started to do this whole thing was because...
Is that on?
Is that on? Yes, it's on. Yes.
Okay, just
the red light means good, right?
Yeah, okay, good. Just check.
It'd be crazy if it was muted. No. But if, it is just that to that point is really like you have so many options to choose from. And there's like how to get through all the noise, besides a great podcast like this, is work with the venues, vendors,
Professionals. We want
Professionals.
professionals.
I mean, I've seen Silver Fox has taken photos at Westbury Manor in places where I didn't even think a photo could be taken, and it's a great shot. Matt comes in, he knows the manor room. This is how much equipment I need. This is the sound system I need that's not going to blow away the room and not going to make people uncomfortable. They already know that, so there's no homework on your part. A house florist knows the heights of the ceiling, knows the color schemes of the room, knows the sizes of the tables, so they could steer you in the proper direction immediately.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
All right, so I don't have the name right. Okay, so this was submitted before. We just got engaged. When should we start looking at places if we want to get a September, October wedding? Well, if you want to get married this September, October, like yesterday. But September, October wedding, I'm guessing you mean next year, but so...
Right away.
Right away.
Right away.
Yeah, right away.
If you want a fall wedding,
Yeah.
sure.
September and October become the most popular months of the year. We sell them out about a year in advance. So if you're looking for a September and October date now, I would say start looking immediately.
Yeah, well, that and Saturday nights particularly.
Yeah,
So
particularly.
Saturday nights go first, followed by Friday nights, and then Saturday during the day, and Sundays kind of fall in the fold. You could probably still catch a Sunday or Saturday afternoon, even right now for this year. But I know my October of 2026, I personally am sold out.
Yeah, so...
And I will also add that Labor Day Sunday is a Saturday night.
Yes.
So
Interesting point.
Right, you
Yeah,
have to look at it that way. It's not any Sunday, any Monday holiday. Sunday night is a Saturday night as far as customers
well,
concerned.
your guests that
so that would go just as quickly.
Yeah, no one has work the next day. That's it.
Yes, for sure. I mean, from our point of view, it's supply and demand. I mean, the most popular time of the year to get married is September and October here on Long Island. The most popular day of the week is a Saturday night. And so now we're talking about
There's 52 of them.
Well, just within those 2 months, though.
8 days.
8 to 9 days.
8 days.
So if you're looking at
1,000 couples
October,
got engaged.
8
days.
And they are like, hey, we want to be... September, October, so on a Saturday night, you and a lot of other people, so you're gonna, that's where coming into play about, budget type things is where you can kind of say, how can we balance this sort of thing? All right, on to our next question, which is for all three of us here, which is if your daughter or son was getting married, what's the one thing you would say they definitely cannot go without? Jerry, you go first.
I don't know how to answer that question.
Okay, then we'll put it to Matt. And we'll
I don't know how to answer that question.
Well, all right. So son or daughter. So my daughter is 6.
Maybe specific to your play. You know what I mean? So not overall.
Yeah, not a big picture. So my daughter's 6. All right. So it's hard for me to think that far ahead. All right. But my little cousin is getting married in August. She's getting married, and she. Oh man, you know what? That's actually a really good question. The thing that she had to have. Okay, so the thing that she had to have that really is stunning. I actually had at my own wedding. While the ceremony's going to be on site at her venue, and she has a string duo playing as she walks down the aisle. So a cellist and a violinist playing really sweet music as she walks down the aisle. This happens to be a waterfront venue, so we'll be amplifying the sound so that everybody can hear it aside from the boat and wind noise. And something about that scene of you walking down the aisle with the breeze blowing and violins playing, you smile and just think about it. All right, so whoever your son or daughter is, that moment, that picture is worth everything. It's whatever your budget is.
Yeah. You want to? I mean,
I'll jump in. I guess I think the answer to the question is going to be different for every person.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes.
Because every person likes each person likes different things. But if I were going to tell my son or daughter, I would say it's good food and good music.
Food and music. That's all anybody remembers.
Yes.
That's what's going to make people happy and enjoy where they are.
Yeah, no, I do agree that it is unique to every couple. obviously the most important thing is to have your loved ones there, and that's and you're celebrating, and you could have this in your backyard, and get married just as the peace, but that's not the weddings that we do and that Long Island and a lot of the world does are just big celebrations, which they should be. But I do feel that people remember two things from a wedding: the food was really good, and I danced and had a great time. And as much as we're there to capture it, nobody's like, "Oh my God, that photographer was so great!" Like you're not even. Hopefully, you don't even recognize.
Well, but at the end, all you get is
afterwards when you're looking
get the
back at
memories.
it, yes. And so I do feel like that uniquely there is a sort of a synchronicity here. Where this is like you do need to have these three things, but I just feel like as much of your family that you can have there with you, it's unique to every couple because some people can have 30 people and some people need 300, and so I really feel like it just depends on what's important to you and what you can't live without. I mean, maybe a live whistler, maybe
I'm telling you, the spoon guy,
you're
spoon and jug
missing
guy.
out right now. I just mark it down, live whistler, somebody who could whistle really well. Like I'm so impressed when people whistle.
I don't know about the whistle or the spoon guy, but I will say that if the food's not good, I'm miserable.
Yes.
I
can attest to it. We go out to dinner.
Well, you're spoiled
So hard to
rotten,
go out to
all
dinner
right?
with me.
Yeah.
It is. I rarely go out to dinner. My wife's a great cook, and I run a restaurant that has great food, so
Yes.
it's difficult for me to go out and
be
really
disappointed.
and enjoy
Jeez.
a meal.
Yes.
If if the ambiance and friends are there, it's one thing, but I am generally upset when the food is not good.
Yeah,
It's just
it really gets to you.
Seen
Right?
it happen. I can attest to it. Trust me. Yes.
Very-
So,
story.
again, we're going to conclude with good food
Yes,
and
good
good
food.
music.
Yes.
Good food.
Yes.
And, the music's the
Yeah,
easy
you just
part,
don't want to
though.
hear everybody's plates being,
Look, I'll play the music, leave the hard stuff to Jerry, all right?
Yes.
That's it.
Do I need a day of coordinator? Jerry, the question specifically for you.
Well, the answer is you don't. At the Westbury Manor, your maitre d', your bridal attendant, the operations manager, even myself, we're all on site managing the event and moving things along. If you utilize the house recommended services, as we mentioned earlier, everything's going to move along.
It's already
seamlessly.
coordinated.
It's already coordinated. So the answer that I would give you is: do you not want to be bothered with anything on the day of your event? Not gathering the bridal party up. Not having somebody there for your gown. But again, it's kind of redundant because the bridal party's there doing that. The photographer is moving people along. So you don't need a day of coordinator. You can hire somebody to help you plan and reach out to the vendors for you and do that kind of homework. No. You don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't.
Well, and that's what we're asking.
Yeah, you don't.
I mean, I have a little different. I mean, I don't want to say different, but so because we deal with a lot of day of coordinators and planners and stuff, and so I really feel like, to Jerry's point, when you're getting married at a place like Westbury, they have everything so perfect in terms of the minute you walk in till the minute you leave, a wedding coordinator would be like, what can I? They've got people to do all of it. However, there's part of the day that happens before that, and then there are obviously people that don't get married at Westbury, where there's a lot of other moving parts. So I think there is certainly value, because the other thing about weddings is they are live. They're staged somewhat, but live things happen, and so there can be instances where something kind of is unexpected, and somebody.
This is ask us shit, so shit happens.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So shit does happen,
Shit
and
happens.
that's where I feel like there are. It really depends on the type of bride couple that you are, because if you're somebody who's like, yeah, whatever, that happened, I'm fine with it, and or if you're somebody who's like, oh my god, I gotta, and having somebody there that you could say, check this for me. Yeah, I think it depends on the couple, and you only know that yourself. But if you're getting married by Jerry, you really, honestly, prior to that, you're
Now, I would also say that if you do, you are going to hire a day of coordinator, ask them have you ever been to the facility before?
Yes.
If the answer is no,
They are
do you
not.
plan on visiting that facility prior to my wedding?
Yeah. Meeting everybody, talking
right,
to
and
everybody,
seeing
yeah.
how the facility runs, or are you just going to show up that day and not know what's going on or how they operate? A lot of times we have day of coordinators that we don't even actually know that they're coming, and they've never been to us before, so they don't know how we operate. So how it's
Well, it's disruptive.
right?
Yeah.
It can be disruptive, or how are they going to do their job if they don't know how the facility is going to operate?
Well, and that's I've had that experience where I've had a day of coordinate. And now, look, my view is some places absolutely need a day of coordinator, and some places absolutely do not. I would say your place would be an absolute do not. But I've been at places where I've said, "Thank God you're here," because the maitre d' is not on the same level at Westbury Manor, and they're just walking around, or they leave the room, or they're taking a cigarette break, or they lock themselves in the kitchen, and I don't know where they are. I'm trying to run a dance floor, and I got to know when dinner's coming out, so I send the coordinator to go ask. So there's been places where I've really leaned on them.
I would lose my mind.
Some places I've walked into, your head would explode. All right, but for the most part, if the venue has their act together, there's usually not much of a need. But there's some places where if they weren't there, I know the party would not have gone half as well as did.
But I do want to, with the day of coordinators, I've met a number of young ladies that they're just absolute sweethearts.
Yeah, exceptional.
And while we're running the event and we don't necessarily need their help, they're great support staff for the bride and the girls. So in that respect, if you're looking for some additional support that day, you may want
It's
to.
a very emotional day.
Yeah.
A lot of things happen.
Run the whole
So,
gamut of emotion.
Yes.
Absolutely.
You know yourself best, and obviously budget is a thing you always have to take into consideration. So as we're getting close to wrapping up here, two more things that, and obviously if you still want to ask us some questions, we're happy to stay here as long as you want. Jerry said he could stay till 1 a.m.
Yes,
And
so we got
then-
plenty of time.
yeah, so we got plenty
But
of
I
time.
have one question for Jerry from a DJ's perspective.
Oh, that's right.
So, from the DJ's point of view, Jerry, rather from someone who wants to perform at your venue, what makes a DJ good or bad from the Westbury Manor scale? A good, he was great, or never can come back.
Well, first and foremost, cooperative. Come in dressed. Know where you're setting up. Be respect our property the same way I would respect yours. Like
Sure.
I'm not going to put a chair on top of your equipment. Don't necessarily put equipment on top of my chairs. Things of
That's
that nature.
interesting. Okay.
But I think what's most important is a great DJ reads the room.
Strong point. Yeah.
He will see. If they're not dancing, he'll change. He's not going to be regimented into, well, this is what I play and this is what I like. He's going to read the room. And again, I'm going to say cooperative. If Grandma says the music's too loud, and I say, Matt, you got to turn it down. Matt will turn it down. A lot of guys will say, don't tell me my business. I know what I'm doing.
But it's a collaborative effort to make the party happen. Yeah, so you can't.
I mean, are we gonna? Is Grandma gonna be miserable the whole night?
Must we aggravate Grandma?
Right.
Yeah.
I can't have
Yeah,
that.
if Nona's not happy.
Nona's not happy. I can't. have
Then ain't
that.
nobody happy. Yeah.
I can't have that. But like I said, a DJ. The most important thing is that a DJ reads the room.
Okay.
Yep.
Excellent. All right. Thank you. Yeah. Well, somebody messaged me to ask you, hey,
Yes. Yes.
am I good or bad?
All right, so this is a very sort of thoughtful question, which somebody I know asked this, so that's why I appreciate it. So, it seems like you love what you do. Why do you love what you do? And Matt, I will start that with you.
Why do I love what I do?
yeah. Why do you love
Because
what you do?
I get to go to beautiful places. I'm with you on the happiest day of your life. It's a stark contrast. I do a lot of weddings for policemen, firemen, people who are like, really, it's most people only call the police when something terrible happened. It's the worst day, something really bad happened, the police have to come. I'm the total opposite of that. You are having the best moment of your whole life. I get to be a part of it. I get to be a part of your memories. And you might not remember, what was that guy's name, or whose wrist is that in the picture holding the microphone? But you'll remember, he made me feel great. That room felt awesome. So I'm glad I get to be part of people's memories. That's why I love it.
You, my friend?
I enjoy being part of people's memories. One of my favorite things is to walk out into the gardens when the family and the bridal parties are there taking pictures, and I get to see 2, 3, sometimes 4 generations of family members, and they're all smiling, happy, and the kids are running around, and for me, you can't beat that.
No.
You're making people happy. That's what I enjoy about my job. We get to make people happy. We get to watch them have fun. I've enjoyed it from the word go.
From 6 years old.
From 6 years old. 6 years old, I was
wiped off the first table. Man, this table's
6
clean for
years
the next
old,
guy.
$2 an hour, maybe not so much, right?
They're gonna love this clean table.
So I will say,
Thanks,
what I love, just celebrating with families and with couples is amazing, because it's like I've said before, like we're not working at like a funeral parlor. Like this is like the best day of their lives, and so this is just about people having and connecting and celebrating 2 people in love, which is a great thing in this world. What I love about what we're able to do is we give you what you can look back at, which I think is just, I've gotten into this retro thing with looking back at old photos and Polaroids and stuff, and like there's 40 years from now, whenever it is, when you're looking at your photos, your digital files, there's something to be said about being able to look back and say, wow, that was the day that all of this started, as Grandma is in the gardens at Westbury Manor looking at the kids running around, you're like, oh, I remember my day. And so I feel like that part of just, it's a great, it's kind of almost like an addictive industry, because there's so much great energy. People are so, it's crazy in its own way.
The highs are high, but the lows can be low too. But
so,
the highs are so high that it's worth it.
Yeah. So
I still get emotional at ceremonies. When
Oh man, father-daughter dances. I used to be so cool and not have a problem.
Forget it now.
I had that daughter.
Oh yeah, no. Now that it becomes tough. So, all right. So I think we're
happy.
Wow, we're almost at an hour here, and only the first 38 minutes we were offline. No,
but
we did have some
Jerry's here,
technical difficulties beginning, but in all, this was a great live pod, and Jerry, can't thank you enough for being here.
I appreciate it.
Appreciated. Really cool.
A lot of fun.
Epic second guest, and I will also say that we are looking forward to many more of these. So if you are a bride and groom, or if you are another wedding vendor, venue owner, whomever, and you want to join us and just talk about some shit,
let's talk some shit.
We're happy to be here to join you. What we're going to do with this is take all of this down, the ums and the ahs and it condense it down to the best of, so when you're rewatching this, you will see just the really good, important stuff. What we say is the wedding wisdom without the BS, and that's what we're here to do. Ask us shit. We'll be back here next week with another guest already.
Another
you
guest.
Can't wait to do that. Can you?
I want to sign off. Yeah.
Well, no, Jerry's got to say something a little goodbye.
Okay.
Oh, do you want to whistle, or do you just want?
Do we have set spoons?
I appreciate the time. I'm at Westbury Manor. Jay Scotto at westburymanor.com. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. You can email me. It's my pleasure.
Yes, and he will literally be the guy that
emails you back.
Emails. Yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes he answers the phone. Okay.
So, Matt at the Music Boutique.
John from Silver Fox.
And
Jerry Scotto from Westbury Manor.
Thanks for joining us here.
Thanks for asking us some shit.
See you next week. All right, that's a wrap. There we go. Pretty
Awesome.
good.
Awesome.
Great questions. I think, right?
That was fun.
That was an hour?
Yeah.
That was an hour. Yes. Thank you, TikTok.
Thank you,
Appreciate
TikTok.
it.